Hello and welcome to Think Watercolour. Today's demonstration sketch is based on this reference photo of the beach at Beaumaris in Anglesey in Wales. This photo appealed to me because of the strong shadows, and I wanted to demonstrate how you can create luminosity and harmony by interpreting values using a reduced palette of colours. Once you see the finished sketch, you'll see how few colours I've used, and yet there is contrast, harmony and depth in the painting. This is a piece of Saunders Waterford 300-gram rough paper, roughly 9 inches by 7 inches, and I've sketched the image paying more attention to the foreground details than anything else, because that's going to be the main focus of the sketch. Always be careful when you're using a reference photo like this. Use the reference as a guide and take the key elements that you want to use and edit out anything that detracts from your proposed composition. As you can see, I've pre-mixed some wells of paint and I'll discuss them as I go along. And I'm going to start with the sky, as I usually do. This is a mix of cerulean blue with a touch of cobalt blue for the sky. And I'm going to just carefully go around those buildings, not paying too much attention. I want those to be fairly vague in the background. And this is some lilac with a touch of burnt sienna, just to grey it a little bit, just for suggestion of background hills and a few buildings in the background. For the initial wash on the beach, I'm using a very watery mix of raw sienna, just for the underpainting, just to establish the beach area. And for the initial wash on the two boats, I'm just using some cerulean blue with a touch of cobalt teal, just to give it a slight green tint. Both boats are a similar colour, so again it adds harmony to the painting, but it's just the underpainting. A lot of this will disappear once I paint over it. And I've just watered down that mix just for the exterior of the hull on the left-hand boat. It's pretty much just white, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of colour. And I'm using the same palette just to block in the buildings in the background. The danger when you're using a reference photo is that you get a flattened depth of field, and it can actually bring buildings forward in the photograph, and I want to push them back. So I'm going to paint them fairly loosely and not have much detail. Just a variety of colours just to break up the background, but I want them to be there as a backdrop to the foreground, but without any detail. For the first wash on the sea wall and the shadows on the beach, I'm using a mixture of ultramarine and burnt sienna to create a fairly strong bluish grey, just to establish the darker areas in as I say, the sea wall and the shadow on the beach. I'll strengthen these shadows as I go along through the painting. That's my preferred style. With painting shadows and trying to make sure I get that luminosity that I talked about earlier. You could go straight in with much thicker and stronger values straight away, but the danger with that, I find, is that you can often make them too dark and they overpower the painting. So my preferred way is to build up in layers. I'm using the same colour for the rooftops of those buildings in the background. Again, as I said earlier, I'm not being too specific and adding too much detail, just indicating loosely what's there. My aim is to keep the focus on the foreground boats in the finished sketch. My advice is to always be careful when you're using reference as a guide. Take the key elements that you want for your composition and edit out anything that detracts from the finished painting. It would be very easy to spend a lot of time putting detail in these background buildings, but it will detract from the main focus, as I said before, it's those boats in the foreground that I want the viewer's eye to be looking at rather than what's behind them. For the shadows on the boats, I've mixed up some cobalt blue with some burnt sienna, and my aim is to try and create luminosity in the shadows and add harmony to the painting. So what I'm going to do, once I've painted the shadows on the boat, on the interior of the boats and the exterior of the second boat behind, I'm going to use this same colour to strengthen the shadows around the boats, and that will add to the harmony and the luminosity, as I've said, of the painting. I'm trying to depict a bright sunny day at the beach using these strong shadows against the lightness of the sand. So it's dark against light, and that creates that nice contrast. And here, using the same mix, I'm putting a second wash on the shadows on these boats, and it just creates that harmony in the painting. And the same with the seawall. The top of the seawall, there is a slope which I'm going to leave with the first wash so that it looks like it's reflecting light, and then strengthening the shadows below. Again, creating that feeling of harmony. And for the first wash on the timber work on the boat, I'm just using some yellow ochre just for the underwash, and I'll be going over this with darker colour shortly once it's dry. The thing to remember with watercolours is their transparency and luminosity. Even though you're adding darker washes on top of lighter ones, they will still reflect through against the white of the paper to create the finished colour. For the shadow on the hull of the left-hand boat, I'm just using a lighter grey as it's in bright sunlight on this side. Let's say much lighter, softer shadow, again at the back of the boat as well. Here I'm just using that cerulean blue and teal, cobalt teal mix, just to indicate the planking on the inside of the boat. It's in bright sunlight, so it doesn't really stand out that much. For the wheel arch and the axle and the detail on the trailer, I've just added some neutral tint to that grey mix, just to strengthen it, just to separate it from the shadow. Just adding a little bit of detail there. Here I'm just using the side of a rigger with that grey mix, just to pick up the texture of the paper, to indicate some roughness on the underside of that upturned boat. Again, just strengthening that shadow at the back of the boat again. It just looked a little bit weak to me. I think it's better now. Here I'm using some burnt sienna mixed in with the yellow ochre, just to darken the timber work around the top edge of the boat, leaving a few gaps here and there to allow the lightness of the yellow ochre to shine through. Once you start putting these darker colours in, it really brings the painting together. Here I've added some Van Dyke brown to the mix, just for the strip of wood at the back of the boat, just to darken it as it's not in bright sunlight. For the bench, I'm just starting off with fairly strong Van Dyke brown and burnt sienna mix, and then just gradually lightening it as it goes across the boat, just to suggest part of it's in shadow and the other part's in sunlight. Yeah, I'm still not happy with that shadow at the rear end of the upturned boat, so just strengthening that, just trying to get the value right. And I'm using the same mix for the interior of the other boat, just to define the raised area at the bow of the rowing boat. This is fairly neat cobalt teal for the rope hanging over the boat, and the rope at the back of the boat, or should I say the stern of the boat, tied to one of the cleats. Not forgetting to add a little bit of shadow. For the rowlocks and the cleats on the boat, I'm just using a mixture of the bluey grey with a touch of neutral tint added to darken it. I've mixed up some fairly neat white gouache straight out of the tube almost, just to indicate a few highlights along the planking on the inside of the boat, and a few reflective bits on the cleats and the rowlocks. Here I'm adding some silhouetted figures leaning against the railings on the top of the seawall, just to create some scale. I've just put some clean paper over the painting, just so that I can splatter a few little bits of detail on the beach. Nothing too specific, just keeping it fairly loose. At this point, I thought I was fairly much finished with the painting, but I thought I'd let it dry, and I've come back and I've realised that the sky is looking a bit on the light side, so I'm going to darken it. Always remember with watercolour, you can always go a little bit darker in your paintings once they're dry, if you're not happy with the values, but it's much harder to go lighter, so it's always better to work from light to dark. And I think I'm pretty much done. I'm quite happy with it now. Looking at the finished sketch, I hope I've conveyed the idea of creating harmony with a limited palette and luminosity in the shadows by avoiding very grey hues. I also think the complementaries of brown against blue really bring the foreground to life. I do hope you enjoyed the painting, and I do hope you found it useful. If you did, do give it a like, it really helps with YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, do subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos. I'm a bit slow with this one, it's been a bit of a gap since the last one, but I do try and post every week to 10 days. And once more, thanks for watching.